Oh, we have to do the intro.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. I know how we're gonna use our words. Talking about episodes of Afterferb. We hope it brings you laughter, laughter. This is AfterAfterferb. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Spoilers for people who haven't seen Phineas and Ferb or Afterferb.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you'll notice that we perform our intro live because we respect and appreciate the arts.
Yes. We simply are built different, and by different, I do mean better.
Indeed. You know, if one was a coward, they would record their intro in advance and just use the same one every time. But because we're class acts and so talented, we perform it live every time.
Stars of screen and stage.
Indeed. Welcome to Afterferb, the podcast where we discuss the podcast Afterferb, which is hosted by our roommates. I guess we should introduce ourselves.
Oh, yes, of course.
I am co-host of Afterferb, Benjamin Cross, known for such projects as Musical Without a Cool Acronym. I played Buford.
I am Julia McElheron, also co-host of Afterferb, known for such projects as Musical Without a Cool Acronym, in which I played Carl, the intern.
Now, this has been a banner year for the two of us, partially because Phineas and Ferb came back for season 5 after a many year. I guess we can call it a hiatus now.
Yes,
At the time, we understood it to just be over.
It was just the end.
But they brought it back.
Just like a zombie or Jesus.
But more importantly, even better than the return of Phineas and Ferb was the creation of something entirely new, and that is the podcast Afterferb, hosted by our roommates Andrew and Zach, as well as Alex, who's not our roommate.
Sometimes is our roommate.
Sometimes. They're like the letter Y.
Yes.
Sometimes they're a vowel when they feel like it.
But usually not.
They don't show up to, like, the chores, but they do show up for, like, the group dinners and the, like, fun outings and stuff.
Yes.
It's been an interesting year because as these Phineas and Ferb episodes have come out, we've watched them, we've enjoyed them.
True.
And inevitably, following each one, we would be minding our own business in our apartment.
Just chilling as one does in their apartment.
Trying to pursue our life, our goals, our dreams, only to hear through the walls something brewing. Something being recorded right under our noses. And that was
literally in your case.
Truly, yes.
Andrew's bedroom is right underneath yours.
That's right. I would hear the rumblings coming from the floor, and I would press my ear to the ground, wondering what they were speaking of. You know, I could hear some muffled things through the floor. But I would have to wait and listen to the episode when it came out.
Much like you listeners who are listening to this episode as it comes out.
And I feel like, many people when they listen to Afterferb don't realize that there are two people who have to listen to it before it ever goes to air while it's being made, and that's the two of us. And I think,
Oh, in addition, we also have to listen to the discussions about what they are going to talk about on Afterferb beforehand while we are watching the episode, where they're like, oh, here are my thoughts. So we have to listen to all of these thoughts, usually around 3 times.
Right, that's true. And sometimes we'll all watch the episodes together, and then we'll start to discuss, but then it'll be like, let's not talk about that. We'll save that for Afterferb.
It truly is a hard life that we lead here in this apartment.
It truly is. So we are recording this on the day of January 18th. It's a Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday. As far as I know, the very last episode of Afterferb for the season was just recorded earlier this morning.
Yes, I believe it has.
With a special guest, Taylor Castle, who I saw walking out of our building right as I was approaching. I was out of the building at the time the episode was being recorded. Where were you when this last Afterferb was being recorded?
So this one is actually interesting because one of the hosts of Afterferb, Andrew, I don't know if you've heard of him, is actually currently sick, unfortunately.
Ooh.
So he usually records with Zach in the same room. However, because he was sick, obviously they weren't going to record in the same room because Zach doesn't want to get sick. And also because Taylor was here, so Taylor came over here, and instead of recording all in the same room, Andrew was in one room, and then Zach and Taylor were actually down here on this very couch that we are currently sitting on.
My goodness.
So I was upstairs in my bedroom, banished from the kitchen. So I also saw Taylor this morning when I came down before they recorded their podcast to get my yogurt and granola so I could sustain myself through their recording process.
And now it is my understanding that immediately after recording Afterferb here, Taylor Castle went on to reprise her role in smash hit musical Avenue Q, being performed at Wisteria Theater in Burbank. And, we wish her all the best. She's a wonderful person.
Yes.
Right. So you said you were here when they were recording today's episode.
Yes. Oh, actually, another fun fact. Oh, I think we have a...
Oh, our special guest has just arrived.
Has arrived.
Our first guest on our podcast after Afterferb. we have none other than AfterFerb's own Andrew Grabowski. Andrew, please say hello to our listeners.
Where's your microphone?
We just record on a laptop because, we like to keep it casual.
Hold on. I was actually about to get to that point, that story of you currently have my microphone.
Okay, I didn't know you were recording a podcast. You can have it back.
No, well, we're too deep now.
Yes.
So, Andrew, feel free to sit down and join us if you'd like. We can interview you about Afterferb. That is what we were just talking about, and it makes me remember what I was going to say before, which was that for this last episode, not only was Andrew sick, but Zach's voice was really on the fritz, because just yesterday, the day before recording this Afterferb episode, he performed, I believe, 21 boats at the Jungle Cruise ride as a skipper at Disneyland, and which I believe was a personal record for him, and not something accomplished by very many skippers, as far as I know.
Yes, that is
34 shows every day.
Too many boats. From what I've heard, that is way too many. Usually, I think he does like 10-ish. So 21 is almost twice the normal amount of boats.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to go all out because it was his very final day in the position as a skipper before being promoted to Imagineer and inevitably, eventually, writer on Phineas and Ferb, assuming that his Afterferb career doesn't completely subsume all of his other activities.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to let you know the small correction. That wasn't the last Afterferb of the season today. We have another episode.
Oh.
That's so interesting. I didn't recall inviting Andrew to speak more.
Okay.
After being...
I'll leave you guys to it. Congrats on your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to see our logo?
You have a logo?
Yeah, of course we have a logo.
Yeah, we got a logo. I worked very hard on it, and it's definitely not stolen assets from other podcasts.
That looks just like the Afterferb logo.
No, you will notice there's another after.
Where did you get the vectorized font?
Well, you can simply screenshot things and then...
Oh, you edited it out manually?
Yeah.
I could have sent it to you.
Well, on this podcast, we like to do things the right way.
Okay. That's impressive and unnecessary. I'll leave you to it.
So it seems clear to me that with Andrew's illness and Zach's continuing both the rise of his career and the decline of his voice, that there may be some openings coming up soon for hosts on the podcast Afterferb. Do you have any aspirations for such a thing?
It seems these days, in this economy, anything's possible with Popsicle. We are sponsored by Popsicle.
Popsicle. Lick it up, yum yum.
Popsicle, it's when your dad gets frozen.
Oh, that's why it's called Popsicle.
Yes. And that is legally true.
Legally binding, even. If you downloaded this podcast, you did click the agreement. You now owe all of your life's earnings to Popsicle, and you work for Popsicle now.
Correct. Okay. Oh, I had another thing I wanted to bring up about Afterferb.
Yes, please.
So this is actually about this current episode that was filmed today.
Filmed on location, as far as I'm aware.
Yes.
The location being our apartment.
Yes. Well, actually, this is a fact that comes from Canada, actually, because I was discussing, if we want to get a little bit into Phineas and Ferb here as well, there is a new Phineas and Ferb movie coming out at some point.
Very exciting.
And I was discussing with Andrew the other day that I think what would be probably a funny joke that I assume they're probably going to do is that in that universe where Phineas and Ferb don't know each other, Ferb just talks like a lot, and the only reason in Phineas and Ferb he doesn't talk is because Phineas talks too much. And I was telling this also to Zach, one of the co-hosts of Afterferb, as you may know, earlier today as we were driving to the gym, and he said Alex made that same observation that that's probably a thing, but Zach said he did not mention this story, which is what I will say now. So this is a bonus story because this wasn't on Afterferb.
Which you can only get here on Afterferb. This is why you listen.
This is why you listen to Afterferb. Anyway, when Zach was young, a small child of a few years old, he had a younger brother. He still has the younger brother, but at this point, the younger brother is old.
But is he still younger?
He's still younger.
But he's older than he was when he was Zach's younger brother when Zach was young.
Yes. So his younger brother, when he was young, had a bit of a stutter. And they took him to speech, like pathologists and stuff, and they were like, why did this kid develop a stutter all of a sudden? And it turns out it was because Zach spoke too much. And Rhett, his brother, couldn't get his words out fast enough because Zach would talk too much.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a real Phineas and Ferb situation.
It's a real pathological phenomenon that can occur.
Yeah. So
that's fascinating, actually.
So there is actually science behind Ferb not talking because Phineas talks too much.
Wow. I never thought that. Do you think he resents his brother for such a thing?
Well, I think he resents him because he's British.
Well,
and
sure.
The British, we know, are full of resentment.
That's true. We did kind of kick their butts back in 1776.
Oh,
and
guys, we got them. We got them so
real
good.
Oh my God. They're so mad. They're so mad to this day. They like to act
mad.
like they're not. They like to act all snotty
No,
and snooty.
it's,
but
guys,
like,
it's
no.
so embarrassing for them.
But if you're a British listener, please know that we really appreciate your continued support of Afterferb, the podcast. That was a synchronized
Yeah, we got to keep that one in.
Oh yeah,
that one's staying in.
No, we practice here. Beautiful.
That's what we in the biz like to call music.
Music. You can't spell music without
without.
And that's what we're always saying that here on our podcast. Afterferb. So, what did you overhear anything that they were recording while you were here? While they were recording, I'm curious.
Yes. So today, I will say I did not very much because I did go back to sleep. So
being exposed to Afterferb will do that.
It'll do that. But there have been many times when I have been, for example, making dinner in the kitchen, and I will hear through the walls stories. But what one time was pretty notable was on the Afterferb special episode with special guest Olivia Olson.
Oh, my favorite episode.
It was a very good episode, yes. But what was very interesting was I'm minding my own business, making some food out in the kitchen, and through the walls, I hear Zach very loudly go, "Whoa, you did comedy sports?" Because Olivia Olson had mentioned that she did comedy sports when she was in high school. Zach also did comedy sports in high school at a different school, but the same improv program.
Two elite comedy athletes.
Yes. So that was one of the moments when I went, wow, I am really getting the inside scoop. And that's something that you don't get just listening to the podcast.
That's right. You rely on Afterferb to know before anybody else what's going on Afterferb. After the fact.
After Afterferb, but before Afterferb reaches you guys.
Right. And we hope it brings you laughter. Anyway,
Laughter.
This is After.
Afterferb.
Cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. I know there were some disagreements among the roommates about the quality of the episodes of that pair.
And we could talk about Phineas and Ferb, even though that is kind of what they do on Afterferb, and we like to say that we are quite different from Afterferb.
Yes, but ours would be our opinions on Phineas and Ferb specifically and how they differ from the hosts of Afterferb.
I see.
So not the episode in general, just specifically our grievances with the hosts of Afterferb.
Sure. Okay, we can get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
I believe the episodes they covered today were Elevator Irritator. Was that the first one?
I think
Elevation
so.
Irritation.
I think
Elevator
it had a worse
Irritator?
name than that, I will say. Hold on, let me look.
There was an elevator involved.
Yeah.
And some irritation. And now I'm getting irritated because our content is so elevated.
So I type in Phineas and Ferb on my phone, and the first thing that comes up is Wendy Stinklehopper. Oh no, it is Elevator Irritator.
Elevator Irritator. Yes. And the other in the pair was
Master of Fate.
And there was some debate about both episodes. So why don't you start with your thoughts?
Yes, personally, I thought Elevator Irritator was a fine episode. Not one of my favorites, but I think it was, fairly passable. There were some moments that were kind of corny that were good. Some moments that were kind of corny where I went, not my favorite, but my main overall thing was the Masters of Fate episode I liked significantly more than Elevator Irritator.
Wow.
Which was a controversial take in this apartment.
And I can understand why it's controversial, because Elevator Irritator delivers on some character beats that we kind of seldom get to see in Phineas and Ferb. They kind of took a moment to get a little bit more serious, and they also major milestone in Candace and Jeremy's relationship.
Oh yes, no, I did like that. That was good.
And which happens at the very end of the episode.
So we won't say what had happened in case you didn't watch the episode yet.
Right. Or in case you haven't listened to Afterferb yet.
Yes, we don't want to spoil anything.
Right. You should only be listening to this after Afterferb.
Yes. But before you watch the episode of Phineas and Ferb that Afterferb is based on.
Right. And you should also listen to this backwards. Yes. The other character moments come primarily from Candace as she's trapped in the elevator with the boys, and she does some reflecting on why she do what she do. The boys reiterate to her that she's always welcome to join in on the fun, and she never takes them up on that. And she admits that it's partially because of the unfairness of it, how she feels like she would get in a ton of trouble if she tried to achieve what the boys constantly achieve, which speaks, I think, to some level of underlying maybe feeling of favoritism of their parents toward the boys.
Can I cut you off right here, sure. Ben? It seems like you are talking a lot about Phineas and Ferb.
You're so right. I'm not talking enough about Afterferb.
You're not nearly talking enough about Afterferb.
No, you're right. So we'll cut all that out. Let me get to the meat and potatoes here. Thank you for keeping me honest on our podcast.
We can't lie to our fans.
Afterferb. No, we can't.
Unlike the hosts of Afterferb, we will not lie to you.
Exactly. I remember one moment we talked about was Candace saying she was worried about the boys because their inventions are legitimately dangerous. And we kind of agreed. Andrew kind of only half agreed with me on this, but to me that moment rang just a little bit hollow. Like you could tell with the music and the way they had set up the moment that they were aiming to mine some real pathos there. Like, oh, she really does care about the boys. And I do believe that she does.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't believe fully that she really is that concerned about their safety all the time, because I don't know, that just doesn't seem very consistent with her motivations throughout the rest of the show.
Yes, and I know we were also discussing if she were genuinely concerned about their safety, she would, instead of leaving every time they build something, would probably try to supervise, as she is in charge conditionally many times throughout the series.
And she likes being in charge conditionally.
Yes.
We've established that is a part of her character, that she enjoys kind of being in a leadership role, overseeing people. You know, sometimes she's a teenager about it. She's like, oh, I have to watch my little brothers instead of going to the mall. Pardon my terrible Ashley Tisdale.
No, I think that was actually spot on.
Thank you. I think that's a hot take. Yeah, I feel like if she really was concerned about their safety, we would have seen that at least any time, even one time where she's just like whoa,
here's a hard hat. Yeah,
or just like pull them aside, like instead of being like, I'm gonna bust you and running away to call mom, being like, whoa, hold on, let me level with you boys here. You're gonna get killed.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you're brilliant engineers or whatever, but this is like super dangerous. Because honestly, if she did level with them on that level, I'm sure they would like either listen to her or do something to assuage her concern. Be like, oh, if you're worried about our safety here, we'll add these features.
Yeah. Well, because there was also an episode where they do that whole, like, they're like going like skateboarding or something, and they're like, this is dangerous. Let's make a super safe version of a skateboarding park.
Right. So
they do know how to implement these like safety features. And I'm assuming that Candace is aware that these safety features are likely in place. It's just in this circumstance, I guess when you're trapped in an elevator, you know, danger is really at the forefront of your mind.
Indeed. It's not a huge knock against the episode, I would say. I for the rest of the episode pretty much landed for me, I think. Yeah. And it's a good episode. I just wanted to highlight that one moment that felt a little bit strange to me. And I'll be curious to know especially what Zach thinks about it. Because I haven't spoken to Zach about what he thinks. I'll have to listen to Afterferb when it comes out.
Yeah.
Once I know, I'll update y'all on Afterferb. So you won't even have to listen to Afterferb. You can just listen to Afterferb and we'll just recount what they said on Afterferb.
It's like cutting out the middleman. Right. Except it's adding a different separate middleman.
Yeah. And the other episode, Master of Fate. Oh, now we are getting into it.
Yes. I really enjoyed the episode Master of Fate. I thought it was a very funny setup that they're trying to do a trick shot. And a thing that I really appreciated is during the episode, they set up this whole kind of Rube Goldberg contraption to make a trick shot. And in my head, I'm like, well, then it's not really up to chance. If they're designing this to make it so that the ball goes in the cup, that's not up to fate or anything. But then that ends up being what the joke is, because they're like, oh, that wasn't nearly impossible enough, which I really appreciated.
I really appreciated that too, because I was getting actively mad. I was getting upset as I was watching the episode. We get this montage of them building this, or doing this crazy Rube Goldberg machine that I've set up, and I'm sitting on the couch screaming at the television screen, that's not a trick shot if there's no skill involved. You've just engineered a machine that makes the ball go in the cup. Adding a bunch of complicated steps to it doesn't make it a trick shot. But then, thankfully, the Phineas and Ferb writers, like they were reading my mind,
they were
immediately went, oh, but that doesn't count as a trick shot. And that was the joke. And then, which leads up to an amazing punchline of, we're gonna build, holds up empty blueprint, nothing.
Yes.
Which is a great joke for Phineas and Ferb in general. Feels like something that, you know, they've built up to for a while. Like, let's have an episode where they conclude that they should do nothing.
Yes. I think this episode, the A plot of it, very solid. I also think the B plot with Agent O was very good.
It was very funny. It's such a funny episode. And I just love the setup of Perry. I like that it explores a flaw that Perry has. Because we don't often really get into that. And this flaw being Perry's really gullible with traps.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's just not careful about them at all. He's constantly getting trapped by Doofenshmirtz.
It even got to the point in the episode where I thought they were going to set up like, oh, he's actually getting trapped on purpose to like make Doof feel better or something. Because there were so many times where like Doof hands like Perry the water bottle and he sprays it and it's a trap. And then he does it again and he sprays it and it's a trap again. And you think Agent P, he's pretty competent in most things. It's just, he's a little dumb, it seems.
Yeah, no, I kind of like that. They easily could have set it up to be like, Doofenshmirtz is kind of doddering and pathetic. Like Perry only lets himself get trapped to like throw him a bone. They easily could have ended the plot that way. But I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad their conclusion was just that, no, Perry's just not that great at that part of the job.
Yeah, but he's just good at the other parts of the job, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, except in this instance, where he needs to maintain his spot as #1 agent, because Agent O is coming up on him.
Agent O is killing it.
Great design.
Yes.
Great personality. Lots of personality in the design and in execution. We see that he's kind of a jerk to Perry, but that they're able to set aside their differences in the heat of the moment to bring down a villain in a time of crisis.
Yes.
Which is... And you know, they make up at the end. It's a little arc for them. I like Agent O. I hope to see more of him. And you know why they call him Agent O?
Because Agent O.
Really, really good joke. As someone who has played Carl and really gotten into the head of Carl, what did you think of that moment?
I really appreciated that moment. I think Carl has been in a lot of season 5. I have noticed that. However, a lot of times he's just kind of there. And this time, I feel like having a good joke that was actually very funny, that's kind of nice. They've been using him a lot more. And I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, I don't know if he needs to be here. Like, I'm happy he is. I think he's funny, but sometimes I'm like, when you get a really good line, you're like, now it's worth it.
He's so often the butt of the joke.
Yes.
It's satisfying when he can just be the deliverer of a joke.
Exactly.
That's not at his own expense. Now, we are veering into the territory of just talking about Phineas and
you're right
Ferb
again.
and not Afterferb.
Yes.
So let's get into why we think the Afterferb hosts don't like this episode.
Okay, yes.
Because, you know, they said it was fine. They said it was all right, but they vastly preferred Elevator, Irritator,
yes.
and they seemed to be a little bit middling on Master of Fate.
Yes. If I remember, this was towards the lower end of Andrew's list of episodes.
That's right. He put his list up on the screen so we could all watch as he put the new episodes into his ranking list for the season. Where did he end up placing it? Let's do our research here.
Yeah.
Andrew placed Master of Fate number 30 of 37 in the season, which is harsh a little bit, I think. I mean, it is a strong season. I'll give it that. And I do understand that to the uninformed, Master of Fate appears to be a very, we're just gonna throw random stuff at the wall kind of episode.
I really liked this episode though, because for me it felt very much like an old like Phineas and Ferb episode. Like, this is what I know the hosts of Afterferb where we differ, because I know they much more prefer the very early seasons of Phineas and Ferb, like seasons 1 and 2, where I really like season 3. I think that's a very good season. It's got a lot of fun stuff going on, and I felt like this one felt more like something that would be a little bit later in the show's run, but while it's still like interesting.
You know, I like that they keep the continuity of the Large Hadron Collider that was established in one previous episode and then didn't show up again for a long time, but now suddenly it's here again and it's always been here.
It's actually always been there.
And I think that's funny.
Yeah.
I love that kind of joke. That's just my humor. And then this creature comes out of it that we assume is Baljeet, but is pretty quickly apparent that it's not Baljeet. It's just a different entity that looks and sounds almost exactly like Baljeet. And you know, they kind of make you think you're gonna get some kind of explanation as to why he is Baljeet, but you don't. You just see him get on a bus at the end. Yeah, I appreciate that too. I don't need Phineas and Ferb to hold my hand and explain everything to me.
Yes.
I think what won't resonate, or what doesn't resonate with the hosts of Afterferb about this episode is how out of left field and unexplained it feels. Because the Hadron Collider and Baljeet, this Baljeet creature coming out of it, Like, what is that? There's no explanation. We're not given one.
Yeah.
And I think to Andrew and Zach, that kind of plot can be a little frustrating. It can. I remember I heard Andrew describe it as, it felt more like a Milo Murphy's Law episode, where it's like, okay, stuff is just kind of happening.
Yes.
For the sake of stuff happening. But I didn't really see that. I thought it was a little bit more focused than they were giving it credit for.
Yes, I feel like it also all connected back to itself, which is, I think, the main thing that Phineas and Ferb does that Milo Murphy's Law did not, was it, everything tied back together, which I think is really helpful when you're telling a story that is kind of out there, to be like, okay, it's out there, not super grounded, but it's at least grounded in itself.
I like how it messes with the format of the show. I like that first it appears to be Doofenshmirtz is teaming up with Perry, but then, he's evil.
Yes.
Surprise. And then Phineas and Ferb build a thing, but then it turns out they have to not build a thing. So I don't know. I just like how it played with your expectations of the show's usual structure. It's playing around with it, which I feel like this late in the show's life cycle, it kind of has to do to feel fresh. And I also just like that this season we're really addressing a lot of facets of the show that have always been part of it, but in a kind of poking at it way. Like in the same way we had an episode about all of Perry's lair entrances, this is an episode all about Perry getting trapped, because that is something that happens in almost every single Phineas and Ferb episode, but we don't often spend that much time talking about it.
Yes.
So I'm glad this episode does talk about it. But again, I think it won't resonate with the Afterferb hosts because it appears to be unfocused, even though I think it kind of is.
Yes, no, I agree. Also, good song.
It is a good song. I do like it. I can't remember how it goes off the top of my head.
Neither can I, but I remember liking it.
I remember it in the moment. I was like, this is a good song here in this moment. Oh, I can hear Andrew talking in the other room. I wonder who he's talking to.
It could be anyone.
I hope maybe he's recording Afterferb.
Oh no, a rival podcast?
We gotta get ahead of this. We have to start making Afterferb. The intro is gonna be so long. That was our discussion of the penultimate episode of Afterferb. I mistakenly referred to it as the last episode of Afterferb. Do you have any final statements you'd like to make?
I would just like to remind everyone to like this video and comment if you also agree. And also, if you disagree, comment about that too.
And also, if you really want to do the podcast a favor, go over to Afterferb, give them a dislike. Don't comment, or if you do comment, just comment that you disliked it.
Or you can comment, I came here from Afterferb.
Ooh, yes, comment that.
And then nothing else.
Right, yeah. Or be like, wow, these guys ripped off Afterferb.
Yes.
Because they did.
They did. They stole our show.
They just took away one of the afters and pretended like they came up with it.
It's so embarrassing for them. Don't tell them about that, though, because that'll be really embarrassing for them. We don't want to embarrass them too much.
No, we don't. All right.
Okay.
Well, we hope this brought you laughter.
This is Afterferb.
Podcasts are hard.
Yeah.
But not for us. For some people, they are.
For some roommates who live here in this apartment, they are hard, but not for other roommates who live in this apartment.
This is true. It's an important distinction.